If you've ever tried getting any work done, you've probably dealt with the frustrations of unresponsive or just annoyance of UI. If you've ever tried moving a file, copying a file, renaming a file, or just dealing with installers, you've probably realized the frustration that GUIs can bring with them. Luckily, your computer comes with a built-in tool known as the terminal, which allows you to change all of these things and do much more. In fact, you might have actually used a terminal. If you've used tools like Node, run a Minecraft server, or just used a batch file, you're probably familiar with some way, shape, or form of a terminal. In today's video, we'll be going over what all of these things are, how you can make them useful, and how a terminal can improve your life. Before the dawn of the GUI in the 1970s, we didn't have any fancy GUIs or interfaces. Operating systems would only have a terminal. In fact, you would just enter text, it would run, and you'd get an output. In today's world, we do have all these fancy UIs and all these features, but we still need a terminal because there's still one place where you can talk directly to your OS without any extra menus or any extra gimmicks getting in your way. In a slightly less simplified sense, the terminal is a program that takes a command which tells the operating system what to do and then runs that command for you. You use a terminal by typing a command. That command is then sent to something called the shell. The shell executes the command and does all the behind-the-scenes stuff and then sends back a response. This simple process just keeps repeating whenever you enter any command inside the terminal. What commands are valid or not depends on the shell. The most common shells are Bash, which comes with macOS and Linux, and CMD and PowerShell, which come with Windows. These shells are what you don't see. They're the brains of the whole operation. They execute the commands which are sent by the terminal and decide what to send back. So if I type echo hello world into a macOS terminal, it will send the command to Bash, which will run it and send back the output, which in this case is hello. If I do the same in Windows, it will send the command to PowerShell, but since PowerShell recognizes the command as well, it will just run it and send back hello. The layout of the terminal is actually the easiest part to understand. Even though we're not going to look at every single terminal in this video, they all look pretty much the same. On the left, you have the current location. This is the folder that the terminal is in. Any command you run will be relative to this folder. It's like opening a folder inside Finder or File Explorer and seeing it there. Now you're inside that folder. Just like that, the terminal is now inside that folder. Right next to this part is where we specify our commands. This is where you tell the terminal what to do. And that's it. That's all there is to the terminal's layout. Looks pretty intimidating, but it's pretty simple. Since this tutorial is meant to work across all three platforms, we need to switch Mac over to Bash. To do that, all we need to do is type this command into our macOS terminal. Since Mac by default is ZSH, a different shell, we'll have to switch it over to Bash with this command. Once it's switched over, you're all good to go. The first command we'll be going over is the ls command. This command allows us to see what's inside a directory. So by default, PowerShell will be in your C, users, and then your username directory, and Bash will be in your computer name followed by the tilde symbol directory, which is your user directory. So let's see what's inside it by typing ls, which pulls up everything inside the current directory. So these are all the files and directories inside this directory. Alright, now that we know what's inside that directory, let's navigate our drive. Let's change the current active directory and go inside another one. So to do that, we use the change directory command or the cd command. This command sets the current directory to any directory that you want it to be. So if I want to go inside my desktop directory, which is a folder within my users folder, I just type cd desktop, which takes me to my desktop. I can also go back by typing cd // which takes me back to my users directory. If I go back again, I'm now in the users directory in Windows or the user USR directory in Mac and Linux. We can also chain directories together. So instead of having to go back into the my user folder and then going to desktop, I can just type my user or the tilde symbol / desktop, which will take me directly to the desktop directory. You can also copy, move, rename, and delete files using the terminal. Deleting a file is actually the easiest to do. To delete a file or a directory, we'll just use the rm or remove command. So let's delete the hello text file from my desktop. To remove it, all I need to do is type rm hello.txt. So that removes the file. It's the same as me pressing permanent delete on my Finder or my File Explorer. I can also do the same to directories. So if I want to delete the hello folder from my desktop, all I need to do is type rm-r hello folder. Although, word of caution, anything you do delete through the rm command is permanent, so it won't go to a recycling bin or a trash can. It is permanent and it will be gone forever. Next is copying. To copy a file or directory, we just use the cp or copy command. So to copy rick.txt file, we just need to type copy rick.txt and then the new name for rick.txt. So the new name I'll choose is rick2.txt. The first argument is telling it which file to copy, and the second argument is telling it the name of the copied file. So now if we ls or list again inside this folder, we'll see that both files exist. We can also use this command on directories. So if you just want to copy the rick directory, I'll just type cp rick2, which will copy the directory. Moving is also as simple as copying. So to move a file or a directory, we just use the mv command, which works exactly like the copy command, except it doesn't leave anything behind. So to move rick.txt into the rick directory, we'll just type mv rick.txt, which is the file we want to move, and then rick/rick.txt, which is the new location for rick.txt. So now if we press enter and then cd into the rick directory, we can see the rick.txt file. Renaming also uses the same mv command. So to rename rick.txt, we just type mv rick.txt rickroll.txt, and it's renamed. It's the exact same as the mv command. Our terminal is looking really messy now. So we'll just remove all the previous logs of previous commands. So to clear it up, all we need to do is type clear, and then remove all of the extra text that we have left behind from our previous commands. Finally, let's create a new file and directory. Creating a new directory is very simple. All we need to do is use the mkdir or the make directory command. So to make a directory called John, all I do is type mkdir John, and that creates a new directory inside my active location, which in this case is the Rick folder. So now there's a John folder inside the Rick folder. Creating a new file is a little bit more complicated. This depends on if you're using Bash or PowerShell. So I'll go over Bash first. If you're on macOS and Linux and are using Bash, we just type touch and then the name of your file. This creates a new file inside that directory. However, in PowerShell or on Windows, we must use this command. This command basically does the exact same thing. So all we need to do to create a new file, we just type the name of the file and then the extension. Since this video is an introduction, we'll just leave it here. Since this terminal can do a lot of things, it can get pretty overwhelming. So it's important that you master these essential commands first. There are many more OS-specific commands and software-specific commands, but those will come eventually through more experience. Let's leave it here and close the terminal by typing exit. You can actually use the terminal for pretty much anything, whether it's for quick navigation, opening different files, deleting files, moving files, or just running programs. It's really up to you on how you incorporate it into your work. The terminal is just a tool for you. It's up to you on how you actually use it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please support further content by subscribing or just dropping a like. It really helps me out.